Thank you for tuning in to the Okinawa Karate Podcast. I am Josh Simmers, coming to you from the birthplace of karate. In this video, I visit the Ryukyu Kobudo Shimbukan Hombu Dojo to meet with Dell Hamby Sensei for a tour of the dojo and an interview to learn about his karate journey. Please enjoy the show and check out the show notes for links and more details. Exactly. All right. Dell Sensei.
Yes.
Thank you very much for having me in here. Let's do a tour of the dojo if you don't mind.
Please
All
welcome.
right.
Let's go.
So this is the Shimbukan Hombu Dojo.
This is
And
Shimbukan.
how long has this dojo itself been in existence here?
This one here, this is the so-called the new dojo, which was built since 2011. 2011.
Oh, and where was it prior to this?
At the same place. You see, here's the old dojo, but because of the expansion of the road, which has now become wider, it was torn down and the new one was built. So you see, the old one here was a little bit closer to the building on the right there to the side. So now Sensei acquired more parking area, so the dojo was the new one now is a little bit more to the left. So This is the old one, Shimbukan, and the new one is since 2011, I think.
2011. The original one was built by who had the original one?
Eisuke Sensei.
Okay, so it was Kaicho.
That was
had
Kaicho
the original
and
one.
Eisuke. That was Eisuke Sensei, the original dojo.
Okay. Sensei, can you take us through the lineage of the Shimbukan?
Sure. You see here, to show me to the front, you have Hiroshi Sensei, who was the first president of the Ryukyu Kobudo. At that time, the Hozon Shinkokai, okay, which is now changed since 2000 to Shimbukan.
Okay.
And then second president, Akamine Eisuke Sensei, who was Akamine Sensei's father, Hiroshi Sensei's father, the second president. So.
And what year did
Passed away in 94, 95 roughly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a very special picture that you showed me a moment ago over here on the wall.
Yes, our emblem. Yes. In his prime, Eisuke Sensei in his prime, doing the beautiful Hanzadachi out of the Sakugawa kata.
Tell me the position again.
Hanzadachi.
Hanzadachi.
Half sitting position. So you see Hanzadachi. This is the technique in the Sakugawa. This comes in a couple of Sakugawa Dai, later also in Chou no Kun in our lineage. So this is the Hanza, or the half-sitting position, doing a Yedan block, Mawashike. So this is very famous, and that's what we have on the, so you see the logo everywhere also. That's our logo. This is Eisuke Sensei, not Akamine Hiroshi Sensei, but Eisuke Sensei.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was Akamine Sensei.
Yes,
on the
a lot of people do.
On the logo, I thought.
But they're both such good-looking guys, anyway, so they could pass for brothers anyway.
Was that logo chosen when Kaicho was still alive, or was that something that was chosen after?
The logo itself, the one, that's a good question. I'm not sure. That's why I don't want to say.
Okay, no worries. I think you'd be pretty proud either way.
Yes. Probably afterwards, but I'm not sure. Yes.
The student names up here are all of the.
This on this side here, the right side, you see you have two. The right side here, these are all of the Kobudo.
Okay.
Practitioners, okay. And on the left side, the Sensei's karate practitioners, the Shorin, the Muken Kai.
Okay.
You know, Sensei is, Kaicho is two associations actually. So you have the Muken Kai and the Ryukyu Kobudo Shimbukan. So Sensei's lineage, of course, as you see on the right side here, would be the Shorin Kei of Hiroshi Sensei and his lineage here. So, Sensei's lineage is the Shorin line, and then afterwards he became a student of Gushken Sensei here. So, even though it's Shorin lineage, Gushken Sensei, here in his youth here, the old picture in the old dojo of Eisuke Sensei. Also, Gushken Sensei practicing here out before they had dojos in the old days. Okay. So this lineage. So even though the Shorin Ryu, it's the kata's subtle technique, a little bit koshi, the hips, breathing, a little bit different than other styles like Uju or Ichu. Even within the Shorin lineage, the Shorin, the Shurite, a little bit of difference in in the way of executing. As you see also, this is the Kakuzu bowl, the senseis of Akamine, Eisuke Sensei earlier, which the Kakuzu, the area here, Nezubu up on the hill, back behind the dojo. Of course, they had no dojo, so they were practicing in the gardens. These are the Kakuzu, or the Koryu, the old style senseis. So this is our lineage coming from here. So.
All from the Taira Shinken lineage.
Yes.
Residence. It's a beautiful dojo.
That's a very beautiful dojo. Very spacious training area. A little bit humid today.
Yeah, it's a humid Okinawa day.
Humid, but we have very beautiful dojo. It's training area also. Pictures of Sensei's travels.
Yeah, very typical training area.
Yes.
Got the weights, the heavy bag, dry
bags,
rack to dry the clothes. Very, very typical of an Okinawa dojo.
Yes. Just you have a very good training area, place to dry.
Makawara. And Sensei, you post videos quite often on Facebook, and it's right here in this dojo.
Right here in this very dojo. You're standing almost on this spot. This is my...
So as we get to see Dell Sensei's videos...
I'm glad I washed the feet today. Okay, no,
yeah.
okay. This is... You're gonna miss it. So,
this is the spot.
And
it was kind of, before I was recording, he showed me,
yes.
what your little half moon or something.
there you go. It's in the wood, yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I always line up for the show.
And the camera is typically over here at this angle. So
and
this
that angle there, sometimes you put it on, of course, the mirror here is the straight on angle or the 45 nanometer 45 angle there. So that's the famous mini dojo for the mini videos. So.
Very good, very good.
But we don't put up the entire, just add
little snippets.
Excerpts,
Yes. Well, which is quite custom, right?
Yes,
that's normal.
Opposed to, that's why we don't put up entire videos. Yes. Rightly so.
If you want the entire kata, come to the dojo.
Come to the dojo, train it, and don't try to market it on your own DVDs in Swaziland. Oh, no.
Very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Had a bit of a
That's okay.
camera mishap there. The camera shut down on me. So we're going to get started here again with the tour, and Dell Sensei is going to show us a very important aspect of this Kobudo.
This is the Kobudo aspect, very important here. So people look around in the dojo, if you look around, say, wow, always see so many people training, where are the weapons? Now, this corner here, this is very special. This is Kaicho's little corner.
Kaicho's corner.
This bowl, very special. This was Eisuke Sensei's bowl. So
Okay.
So this is a very special bowl. It's a very special bowl. So, even his eiko. I had the misfortune of breaking it once while using it, and I thought Sensei was going to throw me out of our organization. I even put up a video, but he says, oh, it's only an eiku, so. The Okinawa mentality. So here, you see, we have here.
Yes, so as we walk around the dojo, I'm sure it was obvious to other people in the video, all the tunfa, all the sai, all the nunchaku, everything else was hid away.
There you go. Okay, so this is one area, so you have the tonfa, the kama, manji sai, teikos, and of course the sai nunchucks. And the WD-40.
The Japanese version of WD-40.
There you go, to clean the rust. It is kind of rusty side.
Yeah, that's Okinawa, right?
That's Okinawa, that's part of the culture, so to say. Yes, that's absolutely.
The humidity wreaks havoc on the weapons, but...
Here a bit more. This is the tembe cabinet, tembe and washin. A nice tembe smell coming out.
So I see some kumite equipment up
Yes,
here
some
as well.
kumite, yes. Something we should be teaching children up to about 3-4 years ago. Then we got a little bit too busy, so the kids are using them a lot of the blacksmith Sensei gets a lot from foreign visitors coming in to give him. So, this is here. So just show you the bowl side. So the bowl being probably the most important weapon is over here. So basically get this area here and make the bowl. And Right. One equal.
Now each student keeps their own weapon here typically?
Yes, you kind of have your favorite bow. Me too, I'm back in my corner, that's why I keep them there. Once you get used to a bow, I guess it's like a wife or a girlfriend, you like keeping the same. There's probably the advantage.
That's a good analogy.
It's good enough, I'm sorry. You can cut it if you want, but it's...
That's staying in.
My old guitar teacher, Pepe Romero, always says, Dell, you have to hold the guitar like you're holding a woman. So once I realized that, my concerts got very good.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay, just on the bright side, so yes.
Of course.
Karate, kihon, and kata, and on the other side, the kihon and kata for the. It was the old plaque of Taira Sensei. Didn't have his own dojo, which is going basically kind of a traveling salesman, so to say.
Taira Sensei.
Yes, Taira Sensei. He was a traveling salesman, so to say. So just going from, back in those days, the dojos were outside. Yes.
Sensei, where's the chart for the kihon and kata for the Kobudo side?
Okay, first I'll show you the old one on the old dojo. That's the kata. Here we have the Ryukyu Kobudo, the kihon. This is the kihon we practice. Plus there are 13. These are the 10 original, which Eisuke Sensei devised, and there's now it's 13, but the original 10 are here. There you have the 3 new, which Akamine Hiroshi Sensei has added on for kihon, expanding that. Nunchak, Teiko, Sai, all kihon going here, which were since this year almost over a little bit more than a year and a half now. Is part of the syllabus, the teaching syllabus also. Back here at the original dojo is the katas. So you see starting from right to left. So those are all the kata. Most of them we're still doing. We're still doing all of, there are 15 bow kata, including the 2 kihon, which Sensei has devised. So these are the different weapons here, of course, you see, going from Tsushino Honsho, Sakugawa Sho, so moving into the sai, then Teiko, Tonfa, Nunchak, Timbe, Surochin, and Sonotoka going into these are all of the. We're doing not all of them. Some have kind of fallen into perdu, we say in French, lost a little bit, but most of the kata we're still doing. All of the bow kata, all of the sai kata, we're still doing. Okay. We're doing basically up to maybe 8 to 10 weapons at the moment. So, yes.
All right. We'll sit down for an interview, Sensei.
Zdrowie.
What Sensei said. Thank you for tuning in to the Okinawa Karate Podcast. I am Josh Simmers, coming to you from the birthplace of karate, Okinawa, Japan.
Yes.
And we're colluding with Sensei Dell Hamby in the Shimbukan Hombu Dojo. Sensei, thank you so much for inviting me here today. My first time here at this remarkable dojo. I almost feel like I've been here several times because of the videos that you've posted.
Okay, yes. I know. Oh, this is the corner. Yes,
now I know the mark on
the mark where. Yes.
Okay. But this is the first time that I'm here, and I really do want to, thank you for welcoming me.
My pleasure.
Welcoming me here.
Thank you very much for speaking.
Very important day in the history of Japan.
Wow,
Coronation Day.
Coronation Day. We're starting the new year.
First day of the Reiwa era. It is truly starting a new era. So,
absolutely, yes.
I guess what they say, this is the first time in 200 years.
Abdication of the throne.
An abdication of the throne. So what that means is an emperor that's alive has decided to step down.
Yes. That doesn't happen much these days.
Doesn't happen much.
Politics.
Yeah.
Let's avoid politics. Sorry.
Boy, did we have quite the conversation.
Yes. Oh, before that.
Did I mention collusion? Boy, did we have quite the conversation before the camera was rolling. I'm not sure what Sensei said, but it was.
I speak Russian too. It's a great language.
New emperor today.
Yes.
But the real reason I'm here is to interview you.
Thank you.
So we'd like to do that.
Okay.
I would like to hear about what got you started in the martial arts, what brought you to Okinawa, Japan, what you are doing here, what style you train, what you've done in the past, what you're going to do in the future.
No, I don't know yet, but we'll see. I know what I think I remember most of the things that are in the past. The future I don't know yet, but we'll
depends on how much Russian vodka.
Exactly. Well, it's only water.
It's only water.
It's only water. It's only water. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, how you got here, your background in martial arts, anything you want to share with us.
Okay. Well, I'm from Basel, Switzerland, and the long road, so to say, getting into the Okinawa, because I began doing karate, or my martial arts history began at a roughly later age. I started training at 33 or 34. So at that time it was...
Much like myself.
Yes, in of course, Switzerland, which in the area we have sports karate, of course, Kyokushinkai, very, very strong. And the Hurud and the K1, they all started in this type of karate. I was doing a kind of style of Shotokan at that time.
Okay.
So, make a long story short, after about 8 years of doing this style of Shotokan, Shorin-kei, I thought, I'll make a pilgrimage to Okinawa, the roots of karate. So, that would have been since I started in 1988. So, 1996 was my first time coming to Okinawa.
Okay.
So, because of the Reisebureau, which was the travel agency, I landed up in a hotel, which is around the plaza area of Chatham. So, landed up there, start going out looking for a dojo. First dojo, walked into a dojo, Dell Sensei's dojo, walked in there, and one of the uchideshi said,
Kisei. Kisei.
Exactly.
I want to say Shodan Ryu, but that's not correct.
It's okay.
Matsumura.
There you go.
Matsumura type of dento.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of doing his own thing, maybe,
Yep.
but then they're
very close to my home, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you living there?
Yeah, right next to the zoo.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so
exactly.
My wife can
exactly.
my wife can throw me over there.
Okay, you get to the kid, to the
Yes.
giraffe over there, and have a beer with them. So, but it's anyway. So I walked into the dojo and then just watched a little bit, and one of the uchideshi was complaining about, because I didn't know the Japanese customs. I'll take up this. So as I left, and then I was continuing my walk, looking for a dojo to start, because I didn't know a word of Japanese, and no one was speaking Swiss German or French or Italian. So I speak English, of course. So then I landed up on Gate Dori,
Yes.
in the Gate Dori.
Yes.
There was a poster there, or a flyer, I should say, Uichiryu. So, wow, this sounds interesting. It was also English, and the sensei was teaching, I think, on base at that time. Okay, so anyway, so I gave the guy a call and started at his dojo there on base 1 or 2 times, and then he introduced me into Chatan Dojo with Tomigusuku Sensei, Shibuya Sensei.
Yes.
So I became a Chatan member, Okikukai, and was a deshi student of Tomigusuku Sensei for up to his death, 15 years long. So that's, I saw Uechu, but that was the eye opener. I walked into a Uechu dojo. That's it. That's what I think karate should be.
Shotokan background.
Yes.
No contacts whatsoever in Okinawa. Came over here. Ended up. It's interesting. You ended up in Chatan and in a bit of a northern area as opposed to Naha.
Yes.
Everybody comes to Naha, and this is where most of the dojos are at. Right?
Exactly.
But you ended up there, and I'm not trained in Shotokan. I train in more of a Shodan Ryu style kind of tempo, and I've attended some seminars in Uechi-ryu. But I think if there's two of the most contrasting systems,
Would be those two.
that Shotokan and Uechi-ryu.
You can't get more diametrically
Yes.
opposed than that, I think. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What caught your eye? What was it about the Uechi-ryu that struck you as this is real karate versus what I was doing before?
That's a very easy question to answer. It's going from 0% to 100%, to 100% of the contact. I saw this, and that's what, yes, because in the style we were doing also there in Switzerland, Basel, it wasn't the Kyokushin group, it was this group was started by a guy coming from Alsace, from the French area of Basel's on the border of the Rhine, at the Rhine River. So he was coming in, and his style was pretty much, it was the no contact, just a very light contact. So I was doing that, but becoming a little bit more disillusioned, because I thought, well, this is not, it's looking more like choreography. It's nice to, not to knock the style, and not whatsoever, but then going from zero contact basically, and seeing what was going on in Chatan Dojo in those days, and going downtown to get a San Shinki time, it was very famous in the kumite and that type of thing. So it was, wow, this is So I basically, from one day to the other, I put on the white belt again and started the Uechi after. At that time, I was maybe Nidan or something in Shotokan, basically. So, but I said, no, that's what I want to do. So,
When you came here in 1996,
first time, yes.
was this like a tourist visa or some sort of a cultural visa? How long were you here?
Okay, the very first time I went online, I checked, I remember writing Higone Sensei a letter in English, and the letter came back, couldn't find it. So anyways, I was just trying to do my own, because I didn't have any contacts, doing my own contact in the beginning, because I saw a couple of his books in one of the karate shops in Basel. There, and I thought, well, I'll try a couple of senseis to write. So anyway, that came to no fruition. So when I came, I just booked a flight in a hotel through it was a Nichidoko, which is a Japanese German, because even in Switzerland they weren't booking flights, and so I went to Frankfurt, a Reisebüro, this travel agency. So they happened to book. It was a hotel, I think at the time. Because fate as it turns out, that's why I landed up in Chattan, is because there were no hotels here. They were all full. So they were trying to keep me away from Tomarite and Shurite, I don't know. So I landed up there, and just walking around, it was fate that you just, that's Uechi territory, Chattan, of course, there. So staying in this hotel and finding, actually by fate, and just seeing this, I'd never heard of this Uechi. Oh, that sounds interesting. Just go check it out. And open, and the guy was very nice on the phone, and so that was just really a stroke of fate. Yes.
You did not speak Japanese at that time, though. Who spoke English? Did the sensei speak English, or was there other students in there that?
Yes, because the Chattan Dojo,
right next to the military bases.
There you go. Right? You have the bases, the kichis, the bases there. Also, Takimaki Sensei was an English professor at Nago at the university. So his English was better than mine. I mean, perfect English. So. That was the Chattan Dojo was famous because it was excellent training, excellent kumite, and you had everyone speaking English, fluency in English going on. And most of the people speaking, but Takimaki Sensei, Higa Sensei Toshio was teaching English. All of the people speaking, so it was easy to get be tutored in the language which you could understand. So there was, and hearing Okinawan and Japanese in the beginning. That's why as soon as I got back to Switzerland, I started teaching myself Japanese from there on.
So you went back in 96 as well.
Yes.
And did you continue to train in Shotokan while you were there back in Switzerland? Or okay. So there was no way to do there.
Exactly. There was I got back. First time I stayed for 6 weeks. That was so. As I came back after my first trip. I felt so. For every year until I moved here 3 years ago. Every year I came back each year, at least 1 or 2 times for 6 weeks, sometimes 2 months, taking a sabbatical because I was teaching classical guitar in the school system there. But to make a long story short, so I go back and taking the white belt, starting with this, trying to teach Samchin as well as I knew it at the time, a little bit of the Hoji Wundo and the Kitai, but it didn't last long with the Shotokan people because, this hurts, So after trying to do that, because I was teaching one of the karate schools in Switzerland, in Basel, but after a few months I said, no, I'm going to completely, not going on 2 lanes.
Not parallel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just change. So I tried that for a couple of months, then totally just became disillusioned. This doesn't work. So getting this type of training into Shotokan-minded, semi-light, no-touch conduct didn't work. So that's so at that time. So at the beginning of 1997, I started the first. No, the middle. I came back the next year and tested for the Shodan in '97. So at that time, then became a license, so to speak. I wasn't shidouing at the time because it's after the Sandans, But the approval from Takimaki Sensei to start a Uechi Dojo in
branch.
Yes. So that was there was another guy, I think, opposed because I never met the guy who was doing also judo, but it was kind of the official start in Switzerland for a serious Uechi Dojo.
Okay.
This was in '97.
Now, how many years then were you associated with that dojo? Because you're not associated with that group anymore. I don't want to jump too far ahead.
No, that's okay. No problem. We can jump. It's probably easier like yes, no problem.
Because you'd come back at least once a year, more if you could, from not starting in '96.
Yes. Okay. So I was a member of that dojo in Okikukai up until last year, actually. So it was over 20 years with that organization. I was working with Tomigusuku Sensei, person in his dojo, Chatan member for up until his death.
So your studies now with Uechi Ryu
Yes.
are under a different sensei, a different master.
Yes.
How did you transition from one dojo into another? Let's stay on the Uechi Ryu topic if you don't mind.
Sure, no
And then
problem.
we'll come back, we'll bounce around a little bit into some Kobudo
Yes.
and bridge them together and whatnot.
Sure.
But you're now a member of a dojo very close to where we're at, very close to the Okinawa Karate Kaikan.
Yes.
I think you had told me it was the closest.
The second closest.
Second closest,
Sena
okay.
Sensei, but we're going to get on a measuring stick and measure
it one day.
But still very-
Somebody
yes,
has to
come
take that. Somebody can claim it.
Beginner's
Who's the
record, the closest
yes,
dojo to
exactly.
yes. But you
Yeah.
see, we see out of the window.
I can see the Kaikan, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
raining today, but you can still see it outside. Going up Habu Hill in the back.
Yeah, Habu Hill behind the Kaikan there. So it's, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher
No problem, no problem.
It is Kenseikai.
Kenseikai.
Kenseikai with
Senegal.
Senegal Sensei.
Yoshi Shitsumi Sensei.
Nice. And how did you transition into that particular dojo? If you can?
Okay, very easy, I think, logistical rooms, because here in Tomigusuku, going to Chatan, it's quite a long trip.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
depending on the route 58, you know, the
Yeah,
traffic and
yeah.
so. Sometimes it takes about an hour and a half. I did that for 20 years. Just I would commute back and forth, coming down here to do Kobudo with Akamine Sensei and Tomigusuku, and going back up to the Kenshu Kaikan in Kitamai in Chatan area. So, of course, after 20 years, you know, it's kind of. So I was training, and then one day, just Akamine Sensei said, "Well, there's a Uechi dojo very close here, very good friend of mine, Senegal Sensei. So if you like some time, I'll introduce you. You can go up, and this is very close. It's only about it's a 12-minute bike ride, so don't have to wait on the bus." So I said, "Sure, I'd like." And I'd heard about him, and I was checking him out on YouTube. And said, "Wow, I like this movement. This is the really dente, this old style." So anyway, make a long story short again, because go up and started doing training up there, and it was very easy to get to. And so, but I fell in love with him as a person and the small dojo and that old style of doing the. He was a student of Kanye Sensei and Shinjo, his father's. Kyoto's father, Seiyu Sensei. So it's getting back to the real old style. Not to say that everyone, I mean, okay, doing it also, but it was just very close here. And just so, just because of the closeness, you don't. After training 2 years almost, then I decided to leave, and also, which is very difficult to do after so many. You know the situation here. After over 20 years with Okikuka, fantastic organization, love the people, like family. So, but then at some point, I mean, we are free-thinking individuals, and thankfully with you, we have the ability to follow the heart, and that wasn't only because of that, because I just like the way he's teaching and the style of his Uechi.
I have not trained with Senegal Sensei, not at a seminar or anything, but you know, our mutual friend Chris Wilson is doing the Karate Masters project. It started with James doing with James Fingerich doing the still photos and now the video.
Yep.
And there's been 3 released videos, I think. They've got 1 or 2 more that Chris is editing right now. My favorite one so far is Senegal Sensei.
Yes.
Hearing him speak about karate and about why you train and how you should train, and just, you know, he talks about, you were there at the interview, I think, right?
Yes, I was there.
And he talks about sport, karate, and the Olympics, and I just love hearing him talk. And he's a wonderful man.
Oh,
he's such a kind-hearted. He's in the same Renmei, karate Renmei that we're in. And being at the dinners with him, and the way he acts, and he's just always smiling.
He's just a sweetheart. That smile, you can't, would just disarm you. That smile says it all.
A purely Okinawan karate master. And what I mean there is the humbleness, the open heart, so kind, literally deadly. But hearing him talk in his interview was very special. It's my favorite interview that they've done yet.
It's very.
Hearing him talk about Okinawa karate is really amazing. So I'm happy that I can even be a member of the Renmei. That he's a member
part
of.
Part of the association, yes, absolutely.
It's remarkable. You know, they're not all going to be around forever.
That's
guys,
it. Well, we are, as you know, we're going to Switzerland this coming August, so we're setting up So
Seneca Sensei, how old is he?
he'll be 82 this year.
82,
and traveling to, got him a nice seat on a nice plane, so he can stretch a little bit. But it'll be the first time he's going abroad in over 10 years. So, ganbatte yo.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Good luck. Go for it. You can do it.
They're all excited. There are about 13 of us all together, but 11 people, 12 people from the dojo going. So it's kind of turning into a caravan type of situation. He's taking a couple of his grandkids, and there'll be some koryu, this exchange going on. So everyone's really taking to see the matterhorn. So it's going to be a fun time. So everyone's really looking forward to it. Plus his first European seminar. So it'll be his first European seminar. So as you know, it's amazing the way, fate or whatever it is. It turns out, coming and getting a hotel there, and just having that area, and not just coming the first, you don't know anyone or anything, and just walking around and just seeing this, and then after that, basically doing your whole be doing what you do until like kick over.
That dispels a myth actually about coming to Okinawa, and I think there's still this mindset that you can only come here and you can only enter a dojo if you have a letter or if you already know somebody. And it's, of course, easiest to do it that way, right?
That's what the people who are doing the sponsoring want you to believe, but it's not. Yes, it's not like that.
Yeah, but back in the 90s, you were able to walk into a dojo,
absolutely,
how can I train here?
Yes. You want to sweat? Yes, please.
Exactly. Do you want to sweat? You want to train? Do you not want to just do sightseeing?
Yeah, you don't want to just come in and take pictures pictures like that. Everyone's welcome if you want to put in some blood, sweat, and tears. No problem.
Yeah. It's a different idea of what some people think, that you're never going to be welcomed into a dojo, especially as a foreigner. You can't just go in there. Maybe in other places up in mainland Japan. I'm not even sure if it's that way up there. I don't know. I
hear it's different. It can be because the regimentation, the Japanese culture and the Okinawa is quite different.
Yeah.
Of course, they have the same rules, the same political system, but it's the culture which makes the people. That's completely different. We get a lot of people from mainland, and they say that too. The Okinawans, the Japanese say that themselves. The Okinawans are completely different.
Perhaps to a fault at times, right?
Yes.
The open door too much, but. For those that want to come to Okinawa, you don't always have to have an invite. You don't have to have a letter. It helps. It sure does. And there's great people here that can help you with that, but you don't have to do it. Sure. Kobudo.
Okay.
You had started karate in Switzerland. You came here in '96.
Right.
Did not have a home dojo. Where did Kobudo enter your arsenal?
Well, the interest, of course, coming and doing karate and kind of seeing, wow, this Kobudo things looks like you see a lot going on. And there were a couple of weapons even there, a bow and a sai at the Kenshukai-kan there in Kitamai, Hambi-town. And it was because one of SK's students was a member of Okikukai, Izumi Shibata Sensei, who was actually started training me. Because I talked to Takamine Sensei one night. Takamine Sensei going to his office for training. He's interested in doing some Kobudo. So, wow, that's fantastic. Because I was really into the culture, and he liked that I was interested in doing it too. Because, well, it's the full circle. I mean, if you just do karate, there's so much Kobudo here. I mean, I thought, wow, I think Kobudo will improve my karate, which I was thinking as a novice in the beginning. So you fall in love with it for itself afterwards. But then he says, okay, then I'll introduce you to Izumi Sensei, who was not trained. He was training at Koze Dojo, near Gate Dori. So anyway, make a long story short, again, he would come down. Izumi Sensei would come down and got me started on Kobudo. That was 1998.
Okay, so only 2 years after your
2 years or
first visit here.
Exactly. Okay. So that was he would come down. Now he was a student of Eisuke Sensei, and he was, at that time, Nanadan. He was a Kyoshi, very karate and Kobudo. And Kobudo is Koshi, for Uechiru practitioner, fantastic hip movement.
So you just said two words there that sound the same, Kyoshi and Kyoshi.
Koshi. Yeah. So good Japanese ears.
I don't know if
Koshi and Kyoshi.
For certain, I think a lot of the viewers will understand that. But let's describe Both of those.
Okay.
So the first one was a rank, I guess.
Yes, Kyoshi would be a rank or a title. Koshi would be an anatomical, so your hip.
Which are your hips, basically.
Lower back hips, what is meant in Okinawa?
This
of course,
core
the hip.
area.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Using the hip usage. Yes. Kyoshi.
So he was
from seventh
he
dan.
was a Kyoshi.
He was
and
a seventh dan.
He used his hips
He
very
had
well.
Koshi for Kyoshi, a very
Yeah.
good Koshi for Kyoshi.
Okay.
Yes, very good. So that was the start with these. Unfortunately, he passed away much too early in 2001. Battled with cancer, unfortunately. But so I started with Izumi Sensei, and he brought me down to the old. That's my first contact with here was in the old dojo, coming down and having all of these people who are now in their own associations training. Is wow, just picking up for the first time, just looking around. You have black belts in these old. Oh, it was fantastic.
Higher rank black belts.
Oh
as well,
yes,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
just coming, just a little sakana, a little flea, a little fish coming into these sami, it was quite an eye opener
Yeah.
too. So that was through Izumi Sensei was my first, because he was a member of the Hozon Jinkokai, he was a student, and also Yonomini Sensei was also still with Okikukai, was a student also of Isuke Sensei, although he wasn't teaching Kobudo at that time. So Izumi Sensei was doing the teaching. So afterwards, I started going from him, Arakaki Takashi and all of the released the people in Tokyo. He got this Kobudo going, and I took it back to Europe. Now it's busting on all seams out in Europe. So that was starting, thankfully, to Izumi Sensei and Akamine Sensei, the support which we got from Kaicho. Just amazing.
How has it? How has your? You said you wanted it. You wanted to train in weapons initially because you thought it would help your karate.
Yes.
Not necessarily that you didn't care about the weapons, but you
No.
you had
Yes.
your mind was
First idea was,
this
yes.
why did you think it would help your karate first of all? Do you recall thinking back then? What did you see that you thought this will help me?
Well, what the interesting was being able to utilize your body movements, but using as an extension i.e. the weapons. I thought, especially looking at the bow, not the shoulder, but especially the bow. Being able to control this weapon just sticking up much long, on both sides. Utilizing weapons, and also the usage in doing what I saw of the kobo of the practitioners, which I was seeing at the style, which was not more of the Ryukyu style of using the hip movement. What I saw at Izumi Sensei, this boom, this explosive power and hip movement, I was just, wow, this must improve the karate, because which we were using the hips a lot in the Shotokan in this old style, getting into Uechiryu, which was a different tanden type of hip movement, as it were. So I thought, I want to get into this, because I think maybe incorporating all of the different elements into the practice would probably be beneficial, because it's just completing the full circle. I mean, the people doing it here, but it's a fantastic thing also in itself. So starting to do Kobudo, I said, wow, I fell in love with just Kobudo for the sake of doing Kobudo, not only as an extension or an enhancement of karate, which was my initial thought, not knowing what I was having this weapon in my hand. Yes.
So how do you? Okay, so that was in '98.
98. Yes.
98. So looking back at it now, 20 years later, how do you feel about it now? Same way? It has enhanced?
Oh, absolutely. That's absolutely. With the tone in German, with the accent, it's very, if to your listeners, to people, and Justin, to you yourself, if just do it, it's only doing half of this wonderful thing, what's going on the island, as far as the Budo, as far as the Kobudo, and the whole. If you're only doing one, well, most people do. I don't know many people just doing Kobudo, though their son not doing karate. They should do both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I when I went back and was teaching Okinawa and Uechiryu and Kobudo, my students, they basically had. I said, okay, if you come into the dojo for Uechiryu, you do Kobudo also. Otherwise, go to another dojo.
Yeah.
So it was part of the program.
It was where I was at in
important.
America as
Yes.
well. You didn't have a choice.
Yes.
And there were students that would come in on their very first day, and Sensei said, "Go grab your weapons." And if you didn't have them, you borrowed some.
Sure.
It was just
Not
So
being
it was.
dictatorial or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
not being a tyrant, but you know the beginner has no idea.
This is what we're doing today.
There you
We
go.
might do it for the next month. This is what,
Exactly.
and I think if it's taught with the same mindset, empty-handed weapons, it can absolutely help you. I was fortunate myself with my sensei in America who would teach certain things with the bow and with the shorter weapons about the similarities, not the differences, and that was a big emphasis that he put on us about that you're still using the same body, you know.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But one thing that's interesting, you train in Uechi Judo. You talked about this just a moment ago with the hip movement.
Yes. Yes.
And Tanda, and you had
Tanda,
mentioned as
yes.
well. How about we explain that a little bit for viewers that might not know it? I heard that term I think the first time I was in the States, and then when I came here on vacation in 2013, went to visit a Goju-do dojo, the Yagi family.
Yes, yes,
famous, you know.
yes.
And they had talked about that,
Yes,
and
yes.
you had talked about it just a moment ago. But let's emphasize that a little bit, if we can, for the listeners
Sure.
about the meaning of Tanda Dan, because maybe it changes for each.
It is depending on the style. A little bit different. The idea of the tanden, which I've grown now to see. I mean, it's basic, but approached differently depending on the style. Sometimes depending on the sensei,
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
which is fantastic.
And I think
all
the way I've got the
roads lead to
camera
Rome.
set up, I'm sorry, I'm cutting us off at the waist.
That's
but,
okay.
But basically, we're holding, forming what looks almost like a circle down below the belly button.
Navel, yes, yes. That's fine.
And depending on who you're talking to, maybe
Yes.
it's a fifth, the width of a fist
Yes,
below,
okay.
or whatever. It's a concentration
Exactly.
point
Yes.
that is, I think, emphasized greatly in Uechi-do and Goju-do.
Yes.
Perhaps not so much in Shonin Ryu based the movement of the hips,
The mo-
is, but
because
maybe
yes,
the Tanda is not so
movement
much.
of hips is a little bit different. A little, it's quite different.
So, do you yourself, Sensei, struggle, or in your earlier days did you struggle, or do you see people nowadays struggling, especially someone that's training in a Uechi-do style,
yes.
for empty hand,
Yes.
and in this particular dojo here,
With
which
the
is quite
hips
well
are
known
good,
for the
yes,
hips,
yes,
do you
yes.
see people struggling with that?
Well, I did too. Yes, for a couple in the beginning. Akamine Sensei was saying, says, Deva-san, please, you don't do Kobudo like doing Uechi-do, because instead of Shizen-dachi, I was getting into doing sanchins and this type of thing, doing these type of stances, which actually took a long time to get to the relaxation point and the usage of the hip, which Sensei does here, this tanden and this really strong hip usage, which it's used also in Uechi-ryu, depending on maybe the person, some more, some less, but being cut down on the usage, Kobudo helped me to realize how important it gets back into the natural movement of the hip, which I like what we do in the Kensei-kai, where the hip movement is a very natural movement too, not keeping it so rigid. Because remember Pangai Noon and the half hard with the Omu or the Goju. I mean, you need to get a balance between the Go, the hard or the Ju, and the soft, and not just turn it into just all hard or all soft. I like this combination of the both, and that's why doing Uechi-ryu, learning the hip usage through the Kobudo here, put the Ju back into
I
that,
got
which
you.
I was chastised for a lot. Not saying any names, but some people were not liking that so much in my. Anyway, so but. The hip, this movement is so natural. It's the source of the energy and the power. It must be in the training, and to take it and just put it into the hard part. That's why it's so important to get both. Yes.
Okay. So you did struggle with it in the beginning.
In the beginning, absolutely. Well, still am. I mean, I want to have that struggle until I keel over, until I go into
That's
the dojo
true.
above
That's very
or
true.
down below, depending on who takes me in. But it's still that's the beautiful thing about it. You never satori of perfection. You're always working on your technique. That's why I love practicing every day. Is keep working, seeing new things, shedding light on this and that. It's part of the interesting part of the Buddha
This
life.
is true. What keeps us going.
Yep.
If someone was going to ask you why Ryukyu Kobudo,
Well, the main part is you have the universe, okay? You have the universe and the size of the universe, okay? And comparably speaking, the size of the universe and the size of Akamine Kaicho's heart is immeasurable. So you have probably the nicest person in any universe. He's just a fantastic person. It starts at that level, on that personal level. You get that training, and that, I mean, everyone who's touched, I'm not saying in a religious, but just working with Akamine Sensei, I mean, you never leave, you never want to go anywhere else, basically, okay? That's the personal level. Then you get to his prowess, his technique, the waza. It'll blow you out of the ship in a way. No, I love trying to keep up with him and stuff. Oh, I'm just amazed by this gentleman.
How old is Kaicho?
He's a year older than me. I'll be 64 this year. He turned 65 this year. So. But you know, coming to train with what, just if I kind of put all in the whole nutshell, because we do a lot of seminars, the ones in the internationals that come in Okinawa, which were with other groups there, and I look around, and I'm not gonna, of course I'm being partial and biased to my own style, but what I like about Akamine Hiroshi Sensei's teaching is he gets into the kyo, into the basics right from day one, okay? If you're coming into a seminar with him, he doesn't get you into the most difficult kata or doing these complicated things. He'll start you, this is the way you hold the bow, that type of thing. So what I've experienced and hear from people, and so many people, if you see the back of the maps of all of our the Shibu level dojos, we have about 40 now worldwide, because the people come and they tend to stay, they want to become members. Some of them become members on the first day they do a training. They're so impressed with Sensei's style of teaching. So, because he gets right into the basics, the Kion, because we all know it's Kion is, that's the A of the alpha, that's the A and O of the training. And Sensei really does that. He gets into that, and his style of teaching is affable way, and he's just such a great practitioner. And he knows, not only that, in the music I had so many great guitar teachers who were not great performers, but you know, great performers who couldn't teach because but Akamine Kaicho he's that great virtuoso. He's a great personality, and he has the chops, so to speak. If you guys know guitar teaching,
you can do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
And this style of Kobudo, Ryukyu Kobudo, is from the Taira lineage.
Yes.
Which I guess we can say there's probably mainly two lineages
Basically
here
two lineages
on the island.
Hiroshi Shimpo and Taira.
And I think when it comes to the shorter weapons, the sai, tunfa, nunchaku, there's probably not so many differences between those. But the one thing with the bow, between the Mateo style and the Taira style, is the holding of the weapon underneath or on the outside.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm not really sure. There probably is quite a few differences.
This koshi undo, this hip movement is because our lineage is very emphatic, is using this very explosive, this hip movement. Afterwards, we'll get into, maybe I'll show the video clip, as opposed to, there, of course, the hip is, but it's not so pronounced, so to say, the hip movement. Okay. You have Ryukyu and Okinawa Kobudo. So in the Ryukyu, very strong hip movement. Okinawa, less. If you just put up a couple of practitioners together, then you see a different in the hip movement. Absolutely. Or just go online and video the clips, you'll see this.
I'm sure you saw that at the tournament last year.
Oh, absolutely.
You were a judge at the tournament.
I was a judge at the tournament last year.
And everyone was mixed together.
It was mixed, very, very mixed. Yes.
How was that judging? Was that difficult, Sensei?
No, it was difficult in there because
some katas are actually, I mean, how many different versions of Sakagawa no kun do we have? Chono-kun, Tobuni-kun?
Exactly. You know, and of course, depending on the style, you have differences in the style. Of course, we had the study, which was very interesting. Of course, learned a lot by just looking at the Okinawa Ken put out the DVD, doing the clips on how to looking at all the kata. I did that also with the kata, looking at all the different. It's a learning process. I don't have to do the kata, but it's interesting knowing how they move, so to judge it better. If I don't know what's going on, I can't judge it all.
Sure.
Not everyone, you don't know every move, so you're looking at the whole instead of the little trees in the forest. You're looking at the whole mori, the whole forest. But it was a very mind-boggling but very sobering experience to be able to do that. Seeing all of these very high levels coming in, working with other sensei for very high levels from other styles, other dojos. It was quite a fascinating experience, and it's seeing what was a lot of the foreigners coming in. Of course, you have a bonus if you're living on island and getting this training all the time. What was interesting was seeing a lot of the foreigners coming in who are getting this daily input, which I get, or someone's getting it when you're training with Kaicho and all these little polishing, which are the judges wanting to see because we're all doing the same thing basically on island. So there's an advantage maybe in that, not partiality from judges, which maybe, I don't know. Some people say, but maybe there is, everyone's kind of pulling for the. I try to be as, objective as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I was marking against my own people if the kata wasn't better than the other person's kata. Sometimes it was, it's true. But anyway, let's not get into politics there, but try to be as objective as possible. But it was quite an experience. The only negative thing, what I experienced, was the tendency of too much of the sports stamp and not enough of dento, the traditional being done. Yes.
I would definitely agree with that. I watched more of the empty hand than the weapons. There was particularly people that I really wanted to watch on the empty hand side. So that's kind of more where my focus was, and it was easier for me to track the kata.
Yes.
And for myself to gauge what I thought was better than it was with the weapons. But I noticed, I'm not so sure about this on the weapon side, but on the empty hand side, we had the age bracket under 18.
Right.
Then we had like 18 to
40,
to 40, I think, 39.
39, yes.
Then 40 to 59.
15 and 50, yes.
Those are some wide age brackets,
Wide age
first of all.
brackets,
They
yes.
really are.
Yes.
Which I can understand. There's only so many judges. There's only so many days you're going to do the tournament. You can't break down that much.
Yes.
But you could see within the brackets, you could see, this is a 21-year-old and this is a 35-year-old.
Clear as the driven snow.
And you could start to see the differences, I thought, in sport influence versus more of the dento. And boy, when you got into that age bracket of 40 and above, and then 60 and above,
completely
totally different.
Totally, absolutely.
Totally
absolutely.
different.
Yes, I was seeing that also in the Kobudo.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
So Sensei, I had asked the viewers online that follow the Okinawa Karate Podcast, that follow you, to send me some questions, and I got 3 questions that came in that were very similar, and they're talking about some films that were put up on YouTube.
Yes.
Mini films, and I think people can search on YouTube. I'll also put some links in the show notes.
Oh, sure, the links, we can put those up. Yes.
Hiroshi Akamine Documentary Moments is one of the titles, and if that's searched on YouTube, people can find it. There was a lot of interest in finding if there's a longer length of these videos, and then also the director of the videos. I don't know who the director is. I'm going to butcher the name.
Okay.
Alexei Gorachev, highly respected and revered director. But I did have 3 different emails that came in. Mr. Christopher Smith, JF Documentary Center, Dr. Dieter Wagner, Sport TV, Master James Parson, Master Club International, all had sent me emails and asking about this. So I owe it to these gentlemen to ask if there's longer versions of these videos or anything else we can share about them. You were in them. I saw your
Yes,
footage.
we were.
Guest star next to Kaicho.
Kaicho the guest star. Supporting role, cameo role.
Yes.
Cameo. Yes, I don't know him. I know the people who were doing the seminar and Nikolai, who was actually doing the filming. But this gentleman's name I don't know. And it was listed there and credits given maybe at the music because he has some type of relationship with a famous diva from Ireland or something. I don't know the relationship there. But if your listeners are interested, I would suggest following the link to the video YouTube and contact Nikolai-san that way. He does a lot of videoing. I know that he's a very fantastic, not only practitioner of martial arts, but very good video. He's doing it professionally and just very good. So if people are interested in length or getting more into that subject, please contact him directly.
I'm interested in it.
Yes.
It was it's a 5-minute video, maybe not quite 5 minutes that was posted up there. Back to the Kobudo.
Sure.
What's your weapon of choice? If you were stuck on a tiny
Deserted island,
if you
no. But I am stuck
if you
on
were
a
on this
desert
island,
I'm on an island.
ocean, next to
Well, that's Okinawa. I'm on an island. Yes, I'm just-
weapon of choice. You had to go fight the habu and the mongoose and the wild boars.
God. Well, I would leave the awamori. I would take no. Or the
That
Orion.
can-
No, I'm doing
maybe that's a
Orion.
weapon, I don't know.
It's probably it's depending on the amount you ingest, but that's always it's. Love the bow, love the sai, love the eiku, but if I only had one weapon to take, bow.
Bow.
It'd have to be the bow, yes.
Okay.
Because the most kata there too, but no, that's the most difficult weapon. So I like difficult things.
Okay.
Always did since a kid, so taking apart difficult things, reading Leibniz, and it's you have to think a lot. So the bow keeps you thinking the most.
Okay.
Most intricacies of working with the bow. So had to so bow sai eco sai. I love those two but bow.
Interesting.
Not saying hands down, not non plus ultra, but in the
Yep.
the running bow.
When a new student comes in here
Mm.
to learn under Akamine Kaicho for the first time, what weapon do they learn
They
first?
get the bow on the fingers.
Bow.
First bow.
Yep.
Absolutely. Bow is
I think that's pretty common
Yes.
with most dojos, yeah. They're teaching Kobudo.
Right.
Yep. Okay. There's a pretty, well, it's not an announcement, it's already been announced, but I think it's pretty awesome. There's a manufacturer of weapons out of Greece?
In Athens, Greece.
In
yes?
Athens, Greece.
Dreametal.
Dreametal. And show us, what do you guys got going on? There's this something pretty awesome
There's
on
a
some
new
side.
Shimbukan line of this also, which is it's a very awesome weapons. One of my Platon size. They're great. They're fantastic weapons. We had the privilege to meet with the proprietor, with Christoph Pandos and Sundi, great couple. There, he's a member of the dojo too because he's practicing Kobudo himself. So what better?
Yeah.
I mean, to get
Yeah.
right to the source. So he practices because he wants to perfect his weapons because he uses himself. He knows what it means to use the weapon, not only producing. So Christos came to the couple of our seminars and became impressed with Kaicho's style and his teaching and became a member right away. So that started first, he was actually training in the organization. Okay, so he said, well, Sensei, I'm making weapons and stuff like that. So I said, well, let's see, I'd like to try some of this. So once you try them, once I tried the sai the first time, I only used the sai. It's not I don't get a percent, I'm just saying because they're just damn good weapons.
Yeah.
So it's just about that, just the usage. So,
Light, very well balanced.
the balance, the lightweight, it's just very good. The steel, it's very good. It's very
Meet the
good.
requirements
Of
for the
competition,
tournaments,
yes,
yeah.
perfect
The
weight
weight and
size, the
length.
weight, the length, it's tournament certified,
Yeah.
so to
Yep.
say. And so he began like that, and then after he had a project which he was thinking of getting Akamine Sensei to do a Shimbukan line of weapons, which would be his style of making, the tapering of the size of the length, the tapering of the eiku, that type of thing, the weapons, square, round, this type of this type of thought process of doing that with the Shimbukan specifications, modifications as it were. So he started this just a few months ago, which
Yeah.
has turned into quite a very successful thing of doing the Shimbukan Akamine line of specified with his specifications of weapons, which are
So for
selling like hotcakes.
the sai, the first released weapon, the Shimbukan line.
Was the sai? Was
Yep,
the sai?
okay.
Yes. Now
And
it's getting.
they all have
The stamp. Mine doesn't. You see, it's only. This is the one of the original. It only has the on the top here, the Dreametal stamp. Okay, but now you have the Dreametal stamp plus the Shimbukan logo,
Yeah.
Ryukyu Sensei, on 2 stamps. So that's been in stock since about a month, basically, 4 or 5 weeks. So that's very new.
I'll throw a link to Dreametal
Sure.
in as well with the show notes.
Great
and,
weapons. Plus the length of waiting is not so long. You mean
the waiting is not so long.
as some companies.
Yeah, there's a very other well-known who make great weapons here on Okinawa.
Fantastic weapons. The other companies.
Love them. But boy,
If you start sai, you don't want to wait a year.
9 months now we're up to
Yes.
for size, so that's tough. That really is for people that want.
It is. You want a weapon of quality as soon as you can get
Yeah,
it to train.
yeah.
Correctly.
You're willing to pay decent money for a decent weapon, but you shouldn't have to wait. It takes longer to get those, and you could have a custom car made, I think.
Absolutely.
Sensei, you want to put on the gi and do some kata for us?
Yes.
I'd love it. There's a few more things I want to look at. We'll take the camera around.
Sure.
I've noticed some things behind me, some maps, and the
Yes.
you know, like
the
the
Shibu,
move
this
that
one,
around,
yes,
and
you
we'll
can
talk
see.
about that.
Okay.
But yeah,
I gotta
do some
couple
stuff.
of stuff going. No
We're
problem.
not done.
Okay.
This portion of the interview is done. We're
Yes.
gonna collude a little bit more.
Okay. Oh, yes.
I think everybody in the world probably knows about this, what we're talking about.
Yes,
but if not, look up collusion.
There you
and
go.
I guarantee.
It's a lot of fun colluding. Have a good day, folks.
Yeah. Sensei, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Once again, for inviting me in.
Pleasure.
Great information about the weapons. I'm glad to finally learn your full history.
Okay.
We've known each other for a while now, but to get us,
It's amazing
time
with
to sit down.
Facebook. Sometimes only online and now real time. That's really
And
nice.
we're both here on this tiny island, so.
Yes. If we ever have an Orion sometime, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Or two.
Add more 3 or 4 for the viewers that are
Yes.
here all the time.
Yes.
But thank you, as always, for tuning in to the Okinawa Karate Podcast. I am Josh Simmers, coming to you from the birthplace of karate, Okinawa, Japan. Very close to the Karate Kaikon, right here in Tomigusuku. If you get a chance to come over here and you want to practice with some of the best in Kobudo, some of the best in karate, look no further. Get in touch with Dell Hamby Sensei online.
Yes.
Very open, very free man to communicate with,
Yes.
looking all the time to share information. Really enjoying the Okinawa spirit, the Okinawa life, and sharing it around the world.
Yes.
So, by all means, get in touch with this guy.
Always welcome.
Should we do a proper bow out, Sensei?
Okay. Hey.